In this video, we are going to learn Act 5, Scene 1 of The Tempest from line number 109 to line number 189. All of you turn to page number 109. So previously, we find Prospero bringing his enemies near his cell. Alonso, Sebastian, and Antonio are standing inside the circle drawn by Prospero. Prospero has asked his servant Ariel to go to the king's ship and bring the master and the boatswain to his cell. Now, Gonzalo, line number 109. All torment, trouble, wonder, and amazement inhabits here. Some heavenly power guide us out of this fearful country. So this country is governed by some heavenly power, and that heavenly power is guiding us in this country. And all kinds of torment, that is torture, trouble, wonder, as well as amazement inhabit here. Prospero now is telling to Alonso, "Behold, Sir King, the wronged Duke of Milan, Prospero." So behold means see. See, Sir King, I am the wronged Duke of Milan. Why is he calling himself as the wronged Duke of Milan? Because he was the rightful Duke and he was usurped by his brother Antonio with the help of Alonso. That's why. For more assurance that a living prince does now speak to thee. So be assured that I am Prospero, a living prince. So a living prince is speaking to you. I embrace thy body, and to thee and thy company I bid a hearty welcome. I am the rightful Duke, or I am the wronged Duke of Milan, and I, Prospero, the living prince, is embracing your body, and I am welcoming you and your company now. Alonso, whether thou beest he or no, or some enchanted trifle to abuse me, as late I have been, I not know. So Alonso is still doubtful. He is very confused. So he says, I do not know whether you are Prospero, the wrong Duke of Milan, or not. Or I am not sure whether you are some enchanted trifle. Enchanted trifle here refers to an insignificant thing produced by magic. Trifle means insignificant. Okay, so Alonso doubts whether he is an insignificant thing produced by magic to abuse him. Abuse means deceive, to cheat him. As late I have been. So previously there was a banquet, and when they tried to eat, the banquet vanished, and Ariel came in the form of Harpy. We know all these things. That's why he is doubtful whether he is looking at the real Duke of, that is, the wronged Duke of Milan or not. Thy pulse beats as of flesh and blood. That is, your pulse is beating as a human being. So you look like a human being. That is the meaning here. And since I saw thee, the affliction of my mind immense, with which I fear a madness held me. So since I've seen you, my insanity is becoming all right. So he is getting better. Thus must crave, and if this be at all a most strange story. So if you are really Prospero, and if all these things have happened to me for real, then I demand a strange story from you. I demand an explanation from you. Thy dukedom I resign. Resign means hand over. And do entreat. Entreat means beg. Thou pardon me my wrongs. So he says, so if you are really Prospero, I promise you that I hand over the dukedom to you back, and I beg you pardon. I seek you forgiveness earnestly. But how should Prospero be living and be here? And so he is doubtful. He asks, how can Prospero be living? Because they all believe that he was dead and gone even before 12 years. Okay. So, how come Prospero can be alive? That is the first question. And how can he be living in this island, which is far away from Naples? Prospero, first noble friend, let me embrace thine age, whose honor cannot be measured or confined. Confined means limited. So Prospero says, noble friend, let me embrace you in your old age. So now we find Prospero having forgiven Alonso. That's why he is calling him as a noble friend now. Gonzalo, whether this be or be not, I'll not swear. So Gonzalo says that he is not sure whether all these things are real or a dream. Prospero, you do yet taste some subtleties of the isle. Isle means island. Subtleties means illusions that will not let you believe things certain. So these people are confused. So Prospero says, see, you have seen some illusions of the island which is not or which is not letting you to believe the things certain means real things. That's why you are not able to see the real things. Welcome, my friends, all. So now he is welcoming his friends. He is calling Gonzalo, Alonso, Francisco, Adrian, and the rest of the people and as friends. Now he turns to Sebastian and Antonio. So the others are not listening to what he is telling to Sebastian and Antonio. But you, my brace of lords, my brace means my pair of lords, were I so minded, I here could pluck his highness's frown upon you and justify you traitor. So he is telling to Sebastian and Antonio that, see, you, my lords, I can tell about your secret plot against the life of Alonso and Gonzalo to Alonso and make him angry or turn him against you and justify you traitor. So I can prove you people as traitors. Traitors means betrayers, okay? At this time, I will tell no tales. So he says to them that at this time, I am not going to tell him anything about you both. Sebastian, aside. The devil speaks in him. So Sebastian is very angry. He says, see, the devil is speaking in him. Prospero, aside to Sebastian. No, for you, most wicked sir, whom to call brother would even infect my mouth. I do forgive thy rankest fault. So he says no to Sebastian, and Prospero continues to speak to Antonio. Okay, that is not mentioned in your book. Please make a mention of it. He says no to Sebastian and then he turns to Antonio and tells, for you, most wicked sir, whom to call brother would even infect my mouth. So if I call you as my brother, my mouth would become unclean. But I do forgive thy rankest fault. I do forgive your horrible fault, all of them. So I forgive all your faults and require my dukedom of thee, which perforce means without option, I know thou must restore. So now I demand my dukedom back from you, and I know that without any option, you have to restore the dukedom to me. He has to restore the dukedom because Prospero knows about the wicked plan of Antonio and Sebastian. So he can easily tell Alonso all the things. So Alonso will take some action against these people, and these people don't want that to happen, isn't it? So these two people are under the control of Prospero now. Okay, that is the situation. Alonso, If thou beest Prospero, that is, if you are Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation. So you have to give me detail how you were saved, how thou hast met us, who 3 years since were wrecked upon this shore, where I have lost my dear son Ferdinand. So he says, if you are really Prospero, you just give me details on how you were saved and how you met us in this island. Uh, and it's been only 3 hours since we've come to this island, and you give us particulars how you met us here. And he says, where, that is, in this island, I have lost my dear son, and I have lost pass. Okay, there is a pass, and he says, how sharp the point of this remembrance is, that is, how painful the memory is. And he continues to say that he has lost his one and only son, Ferdinand. Prospero, I'm for it. I'm sorry for it, sir. Alonso, irreparable is the loss, and patience says it is past her cure. So Alonso says, sir, it is an irreparable loss, and patience says that I cannot endure it patiently. So Alonso is very, very sad. Okay, Prospero, I rather think you have not sought her help. Her here refers to patience. See, Alonso says that he cannot endure the pain patiently. So Prospero says that he thinks that Alonso hasn't asked the help of patience, of whose soft grace for the like loss I have her sovereign aid and rest myself content. So listen very carefully. Of whose soft grace, whose soft, whose here refers to patience. So he says that he has also suffered the like loss. Like loss refers to Prospero losing Miranda. So he says that, see, I have also suffered a like loss, but I have received the help of patience. Okay, I have her sovereign aid. I have patience, supreme help, and so I am able to rest myself with content. Alonso, you the like loss, you also have suffered a loss like mine. Prospero, as great to me as late, my loss is recent and supportable to make the dear loss have I means much weaker than you may call to comfort you. So he says, to make my loss bearable, I have much lesser means than you have to comfort you. For I have lost my daughter. Because I have lost my daughter. Why is he saying so? Because Prospero has lost all he has. He has only his daughter in that island. So he has lost everything. He says that, see, I have much lesser means than you have. You are a king, right? So you have lot of things to do, and you have lot of things under your control. So when compared to you, my loss is much bigger than yours. Alonso, a daughter? You have lost your daughter? Oh heavens, that they were living both in Naples, the king and queen there, that they were, I wish, myself were murdered in that oozy bed where my son lies. So he tells now, oh, I wish my son and your daughter were alive and living in Naples as king and queen. So out of emotion, Alonso is saying, actually, Prospero is not telling the truth. Miranda is alive. Ferdinand is also alive. But Alonso thinks that Ferdinand is dead and gone, and he believes that what Prospero has said is true. That is, he has lost his daughter. Okay, so he says, I wish that instead of Ferdinand, I would have died. Okay, let me read it once again. I wish myself were mudded in that oozy bed. Oozy means slimy mud where my son lies. So he believes that Ferdinand is lying on or buried in the mud, or he is lying on the ocean bed. Where did you lose your daughter? So, where did you lose your daughter, Prospero? In the last tempest, I perceive. So I have lost my daughter in the last tempest. I perceive, I recognize these lords at this encounter do so much admire that they devour their reason and scarce think their eyes do offices of truth. So now he turns to the lords and tells that, see, these lords are wonder struck and they have lost their reason and they can hardly believe what they hear and see. They are not even able to believe what they are seeing as truth. They think that what they are seeing is not truth. Their words are natural breath, but howsoever you have been jostled from your senses. Know for certain that I am Prospero. So, Sir King, you are pushed out from your senses, and so know for certain you are now stable, mentally stable. So, know for certain that I am Prospero, and that very Duke which was thrust forth means kicked out of Milan, who most strangely upon the shore where you were wrecked was landed to be the Lord on it. So he says, know for certain that I am Prospero, the very Duke of Milan, who was kicked out from Milan, and I landed on this shore where you were wrecked, and I became the Lord of this island. No more yet of this, for 'tis a chronicle of day by day, not a relation for a breakfast nor befitting this first meeting. So he says that he is not going to reveal all these things now, not more yet of this. So he is not going to talk about his story now because it is not a chronicle of day by day. Sorry, it is a chronicle. Okay, so it is a chronicle of day by day. Chronicle is a written account of events ordered by time. Okay, not a relation for a breakfast. So what he says is, see, this is a chronicle of day by day, and it is not a relation, not a narration to be narrated during the breakfast, as well as it is not the kind of story which can be said during the first meeting. Welcome, sir. This sells my coat. Here have I few attendants and subjects none abroad. So he says, see, sir, this is my cell and I have few attendants here, but I don't have subjects in the outside world. So the small island is the dukedom for Prospero now, and his cell is his court, and the spirits are his attendants. That's what he means here. My dukedom, look in. So please, I pray you, I request you, please look inside the cell. My dukedom, since you have given me again, I will requite you with as good a thing, at least bring forth a wonder to content you. Content ye means please you as much as me, my dukedom. So he says, please look in, sir. Since you have returned the dukedom back to me, I will repay you for that with a good thing. At least I will bring forth a miracle. I will bring forth a wonder to please your eyes as much as my dukedom pleased me. Okay, is it clear? See, you have pleased me by giving back the dukedom to me, so I'm going to please you by bringing forth a wonder to you, bringing forth a miracle to you. And this entrance of the cell opens, and Alonso finds something very special in the cell of Prospero, which we'll be seeing in the next class. Thank you, students.